We are entering the final stretch on the wait for Fallout 4, and that's why today Gameranx is bringing you 10 things you need to know about Fallout 4. Number 10, if you've pre-ordered Fallout 4 using Amazon or another vendor that does not charge you until the time that the game is shipped, you need to make sure that the credit card you pre-ordered with is still valid when they ship. I mean, there's a variety of reasons why you would need to use a different card before the game ships. For instance, your credit card could expire. You could end up losing it. At least once a year, I leave my card in an ATM. I know it's stupid, but it happens. Then there's the chance that you may have used a prepaid card, or you changed banks, or any number of reasons. The point is you want Fallout 4 as early as you can get it. And in order to get that, you have to be able to pay for it. So make sure you go to Amazon or wherever you ordered it and update your payment information. This can all be avoided. Number 9, the Xbox Marketplace has revealed that the Fallout 4 file size is around 28 gigabytes. Now that's pretty obviously for the Xbox One version of the game, but a good thing to remember is that there's not usually that big of a difference between platforms. A JPEG is a JPEG whether it's on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, or a PC. Pretty much everyone is using Blu-ray or downloaded media at this point, so once they've conformed the file size to one system, it should basically be what they do other than code changes for all the systems. Some AAA games are getting a bit out of hand with download size, and this is pretty average. Number 8. Okay, this is going to be a little bit complex, so stay with me here. So Bethesda claims that leveling in Fallout 4 is going to be faster than before, and that the game will feature no level cap, which I think is pretty cool. So as is pretty standard, when you level up, you're going to pick special stats. These stats obviously affect your skills as you're playing the game, and it's important to choose in a way that augments your playstyle. Each stat will have its own skill tree, whether it be skill, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, or luck. As you level up a particular special stat, you'll unlock more perks along the tree. You do actually start off with a pretty fair amount of special points, which allows you to kind of angle what you're doing right off. So if you know how you're going to play, make sure you spend special points in a way that complements that. So the more points you put into a stat, the more exotic the perks that you get. Going by an example given by Bethesda, the Agility 1 perk, called Gunslinger, gives you 20% more damage with pistols, whereas if you take Agility all the way to 10, the perk Gun Fu is unlocked, which makes it so that your second target in the VATS targeting system takes 25% more damage regardless of what weapon you're carrying. Okay, pretty easy to follow so far, but according to Bethesda, each perk itself is actually a mini perk tree. So once you've earned Gun Fu, you can now level up Gun Fu itself. So each perk itself has different ranks. For instance, Gunslinger, which is the Agility level 1 perk that we mentioned, may start off giving you 20% more damage with pistols, but it has ranks that actually up the range of pistols, a rank that also gives you the option to disarm enemies, and even instant limb crippling shots. So bear in mind this is straight from Bethesda and gives you a massive level of customization to your character's moveset. We're not speaking on a basic or rudimentary level either. A perk used to be a perk. In Fallout 4, a perk is a group of perks. Now, as you rank up each perk, your character has to be a higher level to use those ranks. What I like about it is it basically encourages you to take leveling seriously. There are 70 base perks. You can customize your gameplay quite a bit with just the base perks, but with perk ranks, there's over 270 different perks. Not only do you have the perk tree, but you also have comics that grant you perks, which there's supposedly 100 of those. Essentially, the game rewards you for playing the game. And the perk system at the moment is probably unmatched by any of those in a mainstream video game. Number 7. If you pre-order Fallout 4 on Steam, you actually get a Dota 2 bonus. Now, I rather like this. You know the announcers in Dota 2? You know how Fallout 4 has Mr. Handy the Robot Butler? Well, if you feel like replacing the announcer voices in Dota 2 with Mr. Handy, in mid-November, the Fallout 4 announcer pack will allow you to do just that. So it may not be out the day of Fallout's release, but that's not really that bad. If you're excited about this and you pre-ordered it anyway, enjoy. Like, if you ask me, this is a pretty cool bonus. I like Mr. Handy's voice.
The worst thing on that? Oh, it's not mutated bears or giant roaches. No. It's humans. That's right. Humans.
Oh, Mr. Handy, you complete me. Number 6, there are no DLC exclusives with Fallout 4. If you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or a PC, the DLC is going to be on all of them. I mean, DLC is often a vehicle for the worst of a game. Bethesda typically isn't like that, though. Their DLCs are usually pretty darn good. And the fact that they're making sure that everyone has access to it, well, if they've got the money, in my opinion is a favorable decision. What I find particularly nice is that their season pass is $30, and if we're going off any other of Bethesda's games, as far as the DLC goes, it's going to be a lot. With some other games' season passes totaling like $40 and probably not having nearly as much content as what Bethesda will throw at us. It's pretty fair to say that they take the idea of making DLC that doesn't suck, a part of their business model that isn't detrimental to everybody who's playing the games. Number 5, the PlayStation 4 version is going to be working at a solid 30 frames per second. The game is apparently going to be locked there, and you're not going to see any dips, and everyone's going to be happy. At least that is what Pete Hines has said, and I tend to trust Pete Hines. He's usually pretty good at not being one of those hype-oriented people. He's pretty realistic generally. Now, being they have said the PS4 version is going to be locked at 30 frames per second, solid, I want to know exactly what that means for the PC version. Hopefully they don't go the Arkham Knight route and lock it at 30 frames per second as well. Although if they learned anything from the outrage that caused, hopefully they release an optimized version of the game that people with high-end computers can push out more than 30 frames per second with. Number 4, if you pre-order the Fallout Gold Edition, you'll get some nice Vault Boy socks. And while that might sound stupid, look at the socks. They're actually cool. They would probably cost, my guess is probably $20 on account they're a collector's item and not just socks. Oh, and the socks aren't the only reason to get the Gold Edition. For $85, you're getting the game and the season pass for about $5 less than you would spend otherwise. If the socks cost $20, that would be a savings of $25. But if the socks even cost just $5, which they would cost more than that, this bundle would be saving you $10. I mean, if you're playing the game on a console and you plan to take advantage of the season pass, this is the best way to do it. Number 3, Fallout 4 discs on the PC are going to be intentionally missing content to discourage piracy. Fallout 4 for the PC is shipping on a DVD, not a Blu-ray, meaning it's missing a very large portion of the game's data. The disc does contain more than just an installer that downloads the game from Steam. When Pete Hines said this on Twitter, people reacted pretty negatively, but old Pete was quick to remind people that they've been doing it for over a decade. For instance, Skyrim on the PC is sold this way. Number 2, Fallout mods are going to work on consoles. Now we know for sure that means Xbox One, and we hope it means PS4. Now they want you to be able to do just about anything that you want to with the mods. To put it in game director Todd Howard's words, they actually want you to be able to break the game if you want. They have a couple of safety things in place on the console, but at the same time, they're going to let you go wild. There is going to be a minor approval process regarding console mods. It's not going to be a massive approval process, and probably most things will go through, except licensed material and nudity. Or to put it in Mr. Howard's words once again, either your nudity or your porn, that kind of stuff, or you're taking assets from Halo. Now that means you definitely won't see Master Chief in Fallout 4, and you probably won't see Iron Man and Thor either. Anything Disney related, that is just right out. But it probably also means some of the fairly ridiculous things people have done, like replacing the dragons in Skyrim with Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm pretty sure Thomas has got a trademark. And the thing to remember is that it's not just Bethesda that is in play here. Yes, they would be legally liable for that kind of content entering their game, but Microsoft and Sony would as well, due to the way the licensing process works. That being said, it doesn't really seem like these policies take precedent on the PC version. So if you want to drop the terrible in-game models from 1997's Final Fantasy VII into the game, go for it. At least on the PC, you'll be able to do that. And finally, number 1, you need to know the minimum PC requirements for Fallout 4. First off, it requires 64-bit Windows 7 or up. Any of the 32-bit Windows versions are not going to work with Fallout. You'll need an Intel Core i5 clocked at 2.8 GHz, or an AMD Phenom 2 X4 clocked at 3.0 GHz, or an equivalent of one of the two. If you have any less than 8 GB of RAM on your PC at this point, you A, won't be able to play Fallout, and B, when did you buy your PC? And did you spend a couple $100s on it? You'll obviously need that roughly 30 GB of free hard drive space, and you will need a decent graphics card at least. An NVIDIA GTX 550 Ti 2 GB, or an AMD Radeon HD 7870 2 GB, or an equivalent of one of those two cards. The game should look pretty nice, and play pretty nice at minimum, if indeed you're on a budget system. And I do have a little bit of a bonus for you. It's the Fallout controller. Now, if you want to talk the best looking color scheme I have seen on an Xbox controller, there you go. It's right there. I am someone who does not like changes of color in the mainline controllers. I generally like a black controller, but this one just completely outdoes what one can expect from one of these types of controllers. That is just cool as hell. Now, if you're excited for Fallout 4, make sure you leave a comment. I hope we helped you out with some of this stuff. Don't forget to click the like button, especially if indeed we did bring you some new information. If you haven't subscribed already, do so because we upload new videos every single day of the week, and the best way to see them first is that subscription. As always, we thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you next time here on Gameranx.